This morning, an 81-year-old man named Carl was found sitting peacefully in his favorite chair. His tea untouched, the radio still playing. No one expected it. He wasn't battling any major illness. He hadn't complained. But quietly, over months, maybe years, small choices he made every morning began to shape his final days. He skipped breakfast often, took his pills on an empty stomach, sat by the window instead of walking. Simple things. Harmless, he thought, but they added up like whispers turning into silence. What happened to Harold could happen to any of us or someone we love. After the age of 70, our morning routines become more than habits. They can be lifelines or quiet dangers. In this video, we'll uncover the overlooked choices that deeply impact health in later life and the small, powerful changes that could make all the difference. For Carl, for yourself, please keep watching. Let's talk about mornings. For most of your life, you probably jumped out of bed without a second thought. Maybe chased the kids, dashed to work, or started the day with a strong cup of coffee. But here's what changes after 70. Your body whispers where it used to shout. And if we don't listen, those whispers can turn into emergencies. That's why today we're focusing on the small, often overlooked habits that can make all the difference between a vibrant morning and a trip to the hospital. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I've made it this far. Why worry now? But here's the thing. Aging isn't about limitations. It's about working smarter. Just like you'd adjust a recipe when an ingredient's running low, your body needs a little extra care in the morning. And trust me, these fixes are so simple, you'll wonder why no one told you sooner. 1. Skipping hydration, the silent danger. Let's start with something we all know but rarely do. Drinking water first thing. You might reach for coffee or tea, I get it. That warmth, that ritual. But here's the problem. After hours of sleep, your body wakes up dehydrated. Even if you don't feel thirsty, your blood is thicker, your heart has to work harder, and your medications? They might not absorb as well. That's why skipping water isn't just uncomfortable. It's risky. Take Carl, for example. Every morning, he'd brew his coffee before even sitting down. Water can wait, he'd say. But one day, his heart couldn't wait. The doctors told his family it wasn't just a heart attack. It was dehydration stacking the odds against him. A single glass of water could have given his body the head start it needed. So here's your takeaway. Before that first sip of coffee, drink a plain glass of water. Room temperature, no fuss. Keep it by your bedside if you need to. It's not just about quenching thirst. It's about giving your heart, your brain, and even your joints the fluid they crave to protect you. 2. The peril of rising too fast. Now let's talk about how you get out of bed. Sounds silly, right? But here's a fact. Your blood pressure drops while you sleep. When you stand up too fast, your body scrambles to catch up, and sometimes it doesn't. That dizzy spell, the black spots in your vision, that's your brain begging for blood. And for seniors, that moment of imbalance can lead to a fall. And we all know how dangerous that can be. Raymond learned this the hard way. He was always an early bird, up at dawn, feet on the floor in one swift move. Until the morning he wasn't. His wife heard the thud from the kitchen. By the time she reached him, he was on the floor with a gash on his forehead. The ER doctor called it orthostatic hypotension, a fancy term for standing up too fast. Now Raymond pauses, sits on the edge of the bed, and takes 3 deep breaths before rising. It's a small change that's kept him safe for years. So tomorrow, try this. When you wake up, sit up slowly. Let your legs dangle over the side of the bed. Take a deep breath in and out. Feel the steadiness. Then stand, holding on to something if you need to. This isn't about slowing down. It's about staying independent on your terms. Now, these first 2 habits are about what you do in the morning. But what about what you feel? In the next part, we'll talk about the symptoms so many seniors ignore, the ones that whisper, "It's probably nothing," until it's not. And I'll share the one question you should always ask yourself before brushing off that odd chest tightness or shortness of breath. Stay with me. You know, our bodies have a language all their own, especially as we get older. A little ache here, a strange tightness there. Most of the time, it's nothing to worry about, but sometimes it's your heart or lungs waving a red flag. And when that happens in the morning, that's when we need to pay extra attention. 3. Ignoring chest discomfort or shortness of breath. Let me tell you about Glenn. Fit as a fiddle at 75. Still mowed his lawn, played with his grandkids, even joined a bowling league. But one morning, he woke up with a strange pressure in his chest. Probably just indigestion, he thought. Or maybe I slept funny. He took an antacid and went about his day. By noon, he was in an ambulance. Glenn survived his heart attack, but his doctor said something haunting. If you'd called 911 when you first felt it, we could have stopped the damage before it started. Here's what Glenn didn't realize. Mornings are prime time for heart attacks and strokes. Your blood pressure surges as you wake up, your blood is thicker, and your body's under natural stress. So that probably nothing feeling is worth pausing for. Tightness, pressure, or a sudden shortness of breath, especially if it's new or feels off. Is your body saying, hey, let's get this checked? Now, I'm not saying to panic over every twinge, but here's a rule my own doctor taught me. If it's unusual, persistent, or worse than normal, don't talk yourself out of it. Call your doctor, or if it feels serious, call 911. It's better to be the overly cautious senior who gets sent home with a clean bill of health than the one who waits too long. 4. Taking medication on an empty stomach. Now, let's talk about something many of us do without thinking. Taking our pills first thing in the morning. Maybe you've done it for years, swallow your medication, then get around to breakfast whenever you're hungry. But after 70, that routine could be doing more harm than good. Take Alice, for example. She'd been on blood pressure medication for a decade, always took it right when she woke up, no problem. But last year, she started feeling lightheaded mid-morning. One day, she stood up from her chair and crumpled to the floor. Turns out, her medication was lowering her blood pressure too fast because she wasn't eating with it. Her pharmacist explained, as you age, your metabolism changes. What worked at 65 might not be safe at 75. Here's what you need to know. Some medications need food to work properly. Others can cause dizziness, nausea, or even falls if taken on an empty stomach. And here's the kicker, your body's tolerance shifts over time. So if you've been taking the same pill for years, don't assume the rules haven't changed. Your move? First, check the label or ask your pharmacist. Should I take this with food? Second, keep something small by your bedside. A few crackers, a banana, to eat with your meds if breakfast is still an hour away. It's a tiny adjustment that could save you a world of trouble. Now, we've covered hydration, rising safely, listening to your body, and medication. But there's one more morning habit that's so common, most of us don't even realize we're doing it. In the next part, we'll talk about why skipping breakfast or swapping it for coffee is riskier than you think, and the simple, satisfying fix that can keep your energy steady all day. Stick around. This one might surprise you. There's an old saying, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But after 70, it's not just important, it's protective. Yet so many of us fall into the same trap. A cup of coffee, maybe a piece of toast, and we're off. Or worse, we skip food altogether until lunch. I get it. Appetites change, routines shift. But here's what your body isn't telling you. Skipping breakfast isn't just leaving you hungry. It's quietly stacking the deck against you. 5. Skipping breakfast or relying only on caffeine. Meet Martha. At 78, she'd always been a coffee for breakfast person. Food in the morning just weighs me down, she'd say. But over time, she noticed her hands shaking by 10 a.m., her balance feeling off, and one morning, she took a tumble in her kitchen. Her doctor asked one simple question. What did you eat today? When Martha admitted it was just coffee, he nodded. That's your problem. Your body isn't running on fuel. It's running on fumes. Asterisk, here's the science. As we age, our blood sugar becomes less stable. Going too long without food can lead to dizziness, weakness, and yes, falls. But it's not just about avoiding the bad. A small, nutritious breakfast does 3 life-saving things. Stabilizes your energy, so you don't crash mid-morning. Helps medications work safely, especially for diabetes or blood pressure. Protects your muscles. Skipping meals speeds up muscle loss as we age. Asterisk. Now, I'm not saying you need a big spread. Even something small works, a handful of nuts, yogurt with berries, or eggs on toast. The goal? Give your body something to work with. Think of it like starting a car on a cold morning. You wouldn't rev the engine without letting it warm up first. A hopeful reframe. Small changes, big impact. I know all this might feel overwhelming. 5 habits to rethink, 5 routines to adjust. But here's the beautiful part. Not one of these fixes requires a doctor's visit, expensive pills, or drastic life changes. They're about tweaking what you already do, not appending it. Take it from Harold, an 82-year-old who wrote to me after watching our earlier videos. He said, "I started drinking water before coffee and eating a banana with my pills. 2 months in, my dizzy spells vanished. I wish I'd known sooner. It's like I got part of my life back." That's the power of small wins. Now, if you're thinking, but what about my specific situation? We'll cover that next. In part 4, we'll tackle the exceptions. What if you're not hungry in the morning? What if medications make you nauseous? And the one breakfast food doctors wish every senior would eat. Stay with me, we're just getting to the good stuff. Now, I know some of you are thinking, that all sounds great, but what about me? Maybe mornings are tough because your appetite's gone, or your medications make you queasy, or perhaps you've got diabetes, heart issues, or just a lifelong habit that's hard to break. That's exactly what we're tackling now, because when it comes to your health, one size doesn't fit all. When you're just not hungry in the morning. First, let's talk about loss of appetite. If the thought of food at 7 a.m. makes you groan, you're not alone. Taste buds change, metabolism slows, and sometimes breakfast just doesn't appeal. But here's the trick. You don't need a full meal. Even a few bites can bridge the gap until lunch. Try this. Keep something light and easy by your bedside. A protein shake, a packet of oatmeal, or a slice of whole grain toast with peanut butter. Eat it with your medications, then go about your morning. You'd be amazed how even this small step can steady your energy and prevent those late morning crashes. And if you're worried about weight, remember, skipping breakfast often leads to overeating later. A balanced morning snack actually helps regulate your appetite all day, when medications make you nauseous. Now, for those of you who feel sick after taking pills, especially on an empty stomach, this one's for you. Certain medications like antibiotics, blood thinners, or even some blood pressure drugs can cause nausea if not taken with food. But forcing down a meal when you're queasy isn't the answer. Here's what works. Try the brat foods, bananas, rice, applesauce, or toast. They're gentle on the stomach but still provide enough substance to help with absorption. Ginger tea or crackers can also settle nausea. And if that doesn't help, talk to your doctor. Sometimes, adjusting the timing of your medication, like taking it right before bed instead of morning, can make all the difference. The one breakfast food doctors recommend. If there's one thing nutritionists beg seniors to eat, it's this: eggs. Why? They're packed with protein to maintain muscle, choline for brain health, and they keep blood sugar stable. But I get it. Maybe you're tired of scrambled eggs every day. Here's how to mix it up. Boil a batch at the start of the week for grab-and-go snacks. Try an omelet with spinach or cheese for extra nutrients. Not an egg fan? Greek yogurt with nuts or cottage cheese works just as well. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Even adding one protein-rich food to your morning can protect your strength and energy over time. A word for caregivers. If you're watching this for a loved one, maybe a parent or spouse who resists changing habits, here's a gentle approach that works. Frame it as trying something new, not fixing something wrong. Say, "Let's have tea and toast together this morning," instead of, "You need to eat." Small, shared routines often stick better than rules. All these tips, they're not just about adding years to your life. They're about adding life to your years. Because here's the truth. The little things, a steady morning, a strong body, the energy to enjoy your grandkids or garden. They're what make aging joyful. In our final part, I want to leave you with a story that changed how I see growing older, and why every morning is a gift worth protecting. Join me for that. Part 5. The emotional close, or a story of hope and new beginnings. Let me tell you about my friend Evelyn. At 81, she'd survived 2 heart attacks, buried her husband of 56 years, and spent most mornings staring at the TV, waiting for the day to pass. "What's the point?" she'd say. "I'm just marking time." Then one morning, everything changed. Her grandson left a glass of water by her bedside with a note. "For the strongest woman I know." To humor him, she drank it. Then she sat on the edge of the bed like we talked about, just for a minute, ate half a banana with her pills. That day, she didn't feel dizzy for the first time in months. Small start? Absolutely. But that glass of water became her anchor. Soon she was making eggs, taking short walks, even joining a book club. Last month, she sent me a photo from her 85th birthday, hiking in the Smoky Mountains with her great-granddaughter on her back. Here's what Evelyn taught me. It's never about the years in your life, it's about the life in your years. Those morning habits we've talked about, they're not chores. They're love letters to your future self. Every sip of water says, "I choose to stay sharp for my family." Every slow, mindful movement says, "I deserve to move without fear." Every bite of breakfast whispers, "My story isn't over yet." The ripple effect. And here's the beautiful secret. When you care for yourself, you give others permission to do the same. That grandson who left Evelyn the water glass? He's now a geriatric nurse, teaching seniors these same lessons. Your small changes today could inspire generations tomorrow. Final encouragement. So tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off, I want you to try something. Before your feet hit the floor, take one deep breath and say, "This day is mine to meet." Drink that water. Move with kindness. Listen to what your body tells you. The miracle isn't living to 90. It's thriving to 90, with stories to tell and love to give. And if you found even one tip in this video helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button. Share it with a friend who needs to hear it, because nobody should have to learn these lessons the hard way. You're not just viewers to me. You're wise souls writing the most important chapters of your lives, and I'm honored to walk this path with you. Until next time, remember, you're never too old to start living fully. Here's to your health, your joy, and many more beautiful mornings ahead. I'll see you in the next video, but for now, go enjoy that sunshine.